Welcome to Recap World. Today we are recapping a movie in which a Gulf War veteran is wrongly sent to a mental institution for insane criminals, where he becomes the object of a doctor's experiments, and his life is completely affected by them. The film opens with glimpses of the Gulf War, depicting U.S. soldiers gathering civilians. Jack attempts to reach out to a child, only to be shot by the child and subsequently taken to the hospital, presumed deceased. However, doctors discover signs of life when they notice him blinking, realizing he is still alive. He receives medical treatment at the hospital. A year later, we find Jack traversing a desolate road alone. Along the way, he stumbles upon a broken-down truck, where a young girl and her mother stand stranded. Curious, Jack inquires about the mother's name, learning it's Jean. Upon inspecting Jean, he realizes she's under the influence of drugs. He then turns to the girl and learns she goes by Jackie. Determined to help, Jack begins repairing the truck. Intrigued by Jack's military dog tags, Jackie requests them, and he obliges. As the repairs progress, Jack instructs Jackie to start the engine, successfully reviving the vehicle. However, when Jean regains consciousness, she urges Jack to distance himself from Jackie. Respecting her wishes, Jack walks away from the truck, leaving them behind. As Jack walks along the road, he flags down a passing car and hitchhikes a ride. However, their journey is interrupted when police pull them over. The scene shifts, and we find Jack in court, standing trial for the alleged murder of the police officer. Despite his inability to recall the incident, Jack vaguely remembers someone being present with him but cannot recollect their identity. Due to insufficient evidence and concerns about Jack's mental state, the court orders his transfer to a psychiatric institution where he will receive treatment. Guards escort him to his room within the facility. One fateful night, while Jack sleeps, a nurse administers sedatives and transports him to another room, where he's restrained in a jacket under the supervision of Dr. Thomas Becker and placed inside a mortuary drawer. While confined in the box, Jack experiences vivid flashbacks of his childhood and his time serving in the army. After 3 hours, he is released, and Dr. Becker examines him, instructing a nurse to escort him back to his room. In the facility's common area, Jack is approached by Rudy, who reveals he's there for attempting to murder his wife on 30 occasions. Shortly after, Dr. Beth arrives to check on Jack's condition. During the next attempt to return him to the drawer, Jack pretends compliance to deceive the staff, only to suddenly attack Dr. Becker, striking him in the face and causing injury to his cheek. Subsequently, they restrain Jack once more and place him back into the mortuary drawer. Tears welled up inside Jack as he experienced a sudden flashback, finding himself standing before a motel. Jackie emerged from its entrance, spotting Jack. Concerned, she invited him into her car, asking where he needed to go. With no destination in mind, Jackie took him to her home, where she began contacting shelters, only to discover they were all full. Offering Jack refuge for the night, Jackie left to take a bath. Meanwhile, Jack explored the kitchen, preparing toasted sandwiches for them both. Sharing the meal together, they found solace in each other's company until Jackie drifted off to sleep. After tenderly wrapping Jackie in a blanket, Jack's curiosity leads him to explore her belongings, where he stumbles upon some dog tags. Reading the name, he realizes they belong to him. As he sifts through an album, he uncovers a photo of the girl to whom he had given his dog tags. Rousing Jackie from her slumber, he inquires about the girl in the picture, only to learn it's her and her mother. Perplexed, Jack questions the current year, to which Jackie responds it's 2007. Jack insists he's Jack, but Jackie adamantly denies it, stating he died on January 1, 1993. Desperate for recognition, he asks if she remembers him, but her frustration mounts, demanding he leave. Defeated, Jack exits the house, only to awaken once more in the mortuary. Dr. Becker arrives and takes him out of the drawer. Jack falls unconscious due to prolonged confinement in the drawer, prompting the nurse to administer IV. Concerned, Dr. Beth examines Jack and discovers bruises on his chest, leading her to confront Dr. Becker about his experimental methods. Despite her pleas, Becker adamantly refuses to halt his experiments. Later that evening, Beth returns home and checks on Babbitt, a child she's treating for paralysis. The following day, when Jack regains consciousness, Becker informs him that he slept through the entire day and that it's now December 26, 1992. Once Becker departs, Jack seizes the opportunity to escape, donning a jacket and fleeing the facility. However, Beth catches sight of him and intervenes, persuading him to return with her. Reluctantly, Jack relents, allowing Beth to guide him back to the facility. Later, Jack confides in Rudy about his experiences with the drawer, and Rudy admits to having been subjected to it as well. Jack reveals his chilling realization that he has only 4 days left to live and believes he must return to the drawer. Rudy proposes a plan to incite enough chaos to provoke Becker into placing Jack back in the drawer. During the subsequent inspection, Jack executes Rudy's plan, causing a disturbance that unsettles Becker. That night, they once again confine Jack to the mortuary drawer. This time, Jack's memories resurface, revealing that another individual had framed him for the murder of the police officer, leaving the gun behind to implicate him. He gets another flashback and returns to the same motel in 2007, reuniting with Jackie and seeking her assistance in unraveling the mystery surrounding his death. Jackie agrees to assist Jack and accompanies him to the same hospital where he was confined in 1992. Pretending to be Jack's nephew, they ask a doctor about his death, but the doctor has no information and directs them to Dr. Beth. During their meeting with Dr. Beth, Jack learns about her therapy sessions with a boy named Babak, but they uncover no details regarding his own demise. Jack leaves Dr. Beth's office and leads Jackie to the mortuary, showing her the very drawer where he was once held. As he examines the drawer, they are interrupted by a patient entering the room. To their surprise, the patient turns out to be Damon, who worked at the hospital in 1992. Jack seizes the opportunity to question Damon about his death, but Damon struggles to recall any pertinent details. Jackie and Jack return home, sharing an intimate moment together. However, when Jackie awakens, she discovers that Jack has vanished, seemingly pulled back to 1992. Meanwhile, Jack finds himself waking up in a bed and confides in Dr. Beth about his ability to travel to the future. Skeptical, Beth dismisses his claims until he mentions Babak, the child under her care, prompting her to reconsider. Perplexed by Jack's revelation, Beth leaves the room and seeks solace with her friend Jamal, questioning if she had ever mentioned Babak to anyone else, but Jamal refuses. Becker intervenes once again, restraining Jack and returning him to the drawer. Once more, Jack is transported to 2007, where he seeks out Jackie. Jackie advises Jack to inform Dr. Beth that Babak requires mild electroshock therapy, and she also reveals that she has located Becker's house. Together, they arrive at the house, but a passerby informs them that Becker is at the church. Jack approaches Becker at the church, questioning him about his own death, but Becker is unable to provide any answers. Feeling uneasy, Jack is ushered into the back seat of Jackie's car by her. As they drive away, Jack grows increasingly nervous and asks Jackie about her address when they first met. She provides the information, but as they continue driving, Jack suddenly disappears from the back seat, transported back to 1992. Returning to 1992, Jack informs Beth that her patient Babak is experiencing seizures and suggests using electroconvulsive therapy, as it was utilized successfully in the future to treat him. Despite her previous unsuccessful attempts with Babak, Beth decides to trust Jack's suggestion and administers a low-frequency, short burst of electroconvulsive therapy, which miraculously proves to be effective. Impressed by the outcome, Beth approaches Jack and expresses her trust in him, asking how she can assist him further. Jack requests that Beth take him to Jean's house. Beth accompanies Jack to Jean's house, where Jack knocks on the door and Jackie greets them. After meeting Jean, Jack hands her a letter and asks her to read it. He then bids farewell to Jackie and leaves the house. Beth drives him back to the hospital. Upon arrival, Jack requests Beth to place him back in the mortuary drawer. However, as he exits the car, he slips and hits his head on the ground, causing him to bleed. Concerned, Beth helps him up and transports him to the mortuary, where she starts strapping him in the jacket. Meanwhile, Jean reads Jack's letter, which predicts her death by fire caused by her cigarette. Beth places Jack inside the drawer, and once again, he jumps to 2007, finding himself in front of the motel where Jackie is employed. Although Jackie doesn't recognize him, she offers him a ride when he approaches her. As they drive, Jackie receives a phone call from her mother, which brings joy to Jack's heart knowing her mother is alive in this timeline.